Jerry and Charlie riding through the airwaves, bringing you the heat. Come on, pull your fans. Now get up out your seats. They're bringing you all things Mets. They're bringing you all things Mets. They're bringing you all things Mets. Now you're listening to Chase Station.
Today is Sunday, October 3rd. The Mets went into Citizens Bank Park for Game 1 of the National League Division Series, and they walked away with a victory against Zack Wheeler and the Phillies. Zack Wheeler dominated for sure, but the Mets get another late rally going, a 5-run 8th inning after being down 1-0 to steal Game 1 on the road. We're here to talk about it and preview our next game. I'm Jack, a.k.a. Jolly. Joining me from his beautiful home in Ohio is Jerry Blevins. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm lovely. You are Jack, aka Jolly. You're Jack.
Yeah, but I'm jolly these days.
You
Very
are.
jolly.
You're so famous now. Your persona has
Oh,
taken
just jolly
over.
with joy. I'm more so mean, you know. I'm
That's
just
good. I
living
was
my
gonna say
best life.
your internet persona has now eclipsed.
It's really
your,
taken over.
your
I got
real
my
life.
home friends who've known me my whole life calling me jolly. I don't know how this has gotten to this point.
That's because of the Mets. Of course. Yeah, man. What a game.
What a game.
What a game. The what a like getting Game 1 in Philly when Zack Wheeler absolutely dominates. Pretty incredible W.
Yeah, he goes 7 shutout innings, 1 hit allowed. He made it look so easy against some Mets hitters that have been so hot and so clutch. He is, I think you said it, that you would give him the ball in any do or die elimination game. He is the great equalizer because this is the hottest and clutchest Mets team I've ever seen. And they walked into a complete buzzsaw, which I kind of had in my brain as an unknown certainty of like, well, regardless of what happens in Game 1, we know that Zack Wheeler is going to, at the very least, throw a quality start. He
Yes.
instead goes 110 pitches. Nice hair flip, by the way. Might have to leave that mane out. Oh, my God.
Oh, shower hair.
Look at that, folks. This is why you subscribe to Shea Station, right
Yeah,
there.
we got
the
this.
sex appeal. Come on now. But the story for this game was the Mets pitching staff on a bullpen day, and we can call it that because that's what it was,
That's fair.
piecing together 8 innings of 1-run ball against the best offense in baseball. I think that's a safe sentence. Pretty wild.
I think it's the same. To me, they're the best. They're the best team in baseball, the Phillies. I think as far as structure,
Yeah.
they're the best built baseball team. They're built for this moment and they're built to win this game. And you're right. If I had to pick any one pitcher to start Game 1 or Game 7, any big single game winner take all, he's my number 1 pick by far. And we saw why. Thank goodness he walked 4 guys because his pitch count got up. Otherwise, it would have been like he would have thrown forever and dominated. He
Yeah, I
was
mean,
absolutely filthy.
Gary Cohen said on his postgame, you're dealing with the guy that has the lowest postseason whip ever. No one has a lower whip than Zack Wheeler in the games that matter the most. And those 4 walks might not seem like a lot. Those are massive walks because that's the only reason he didn't go 9 innings, which he definitely could have if he managed his pitch count.
Yeah. And then to get to their bullpen, you mentioned it. Hoffman's their guy, man. That he's been their biggest find this year. He stepped way up, and he was their guy, and they went from their starter to their bullpen guy, and he didn't have it, and the Mets took advantage, man.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the pitching plan, which we'll go through, and the offense's big inning, even if you don't win this game, which I'm not going to lie to you, I said it in my instant reaction after the game that I would have been understanding if the Mets came out and didn't take Game 1 because it's a tough environment, it's a tough pitcher, it's a tough matchup. They won anyway, which is awesome. But the saving grace, if you hadn't won, was that the Phillies used all of their A bullpen and you hit them all. Like that sends such a message that if the Phillies don't get good starts, they're not safe. They either have to score tons of runs or get a Zack Wheeler gem every game, which doesn't seem feasible. Yesterday was a win on so many fronts for the Mets, not only in the game itself, but in the idea of establishing pressure in the series. Because now Game 2 becomes obvious must win for Philly. You can't lose two of your games when you have maybe the greatest home field advantage of any team in the sport right now, going down 2-0, heading back to Citi Field, it feels like the series is going to be over. Meanwhile, the Mets yesterday didn't have to use Edwin Diaz, got to reset their rotation completely, and still only gave up 2 runs. It started with Kodai Senga, who, you know, first at bat of the game is Kyle Schwarber, I think fourth most playoff home runs all time now. Senga grew some 94 heater up in the zone, and I think everyone at home knew as soon as he cocked his swing, the thing was going 500 feet, and that's exactly what happened. But kudos to Senga because he settles in after that, strikes out 3, looked pretty nasty
He
from
looked
all
pretty good.
accounts. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
encouraging.
man. I just want to tip my cap to Kodai Senga here for just battling to
Yeah,
be on this team. Like it's for a guy that doesn't speak the language, that has to kind of be isolated in a sense from his own team, rehabbing all the time. He was hardly around this team as considering. I know he did a lot of his rehab around the team and tried to be there as much as possible, but I just appreciate the effort that he put forth, A, to come back the first time, to his mentality after he, hurt his calf. And then he's
right.
like, they're basically, I've heard everyone be like, yeah, he's done for the year. He's like, no, I'm going to try. And when he was coming back, he had another like little setback, and they're like, he's done for the year. And then all of a sudden he started game one in the DS. Like the guy said, I don't care what you tell me. I'm going to do the best I can to try to get ready to help this team. And he did help this team in a game where they needed some breathing room. Those 2 innings were huge, and he was very effective. And again, Kyle Schwarber got him. It happens. But to settle in and give you 2 pretty much clean innings after that, to where, I think, who was it? Reed Garrett he got up
Yeah,
to
really.
piggyback to give, he was going to finish the inning, then set Peterson up for a clean inning. But he got it taken care of. So I appreciate him on so many levels. The competitor in him. Um, I was already a huge fan,
Yeah, of course.
but yeah, for sure that this guy is a good pickup apart from just his skill. So he's a good team dude too. Appreciate him.
Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest heartbreaks of this season was his mid-year start against the Braves, where he looked amazing. He went 5 2/3, struck out 9, and then the calf cramped up on him, and that was just it. That was the end of the story, or so we thought.
That's
Mendoza
it.
coming out after one of the most magical wins in franchise history, and just dropping a bomb and saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, Kodai Senga is basically going to get a rehab start in the first game of the division series. Good luck." And he went out there and showed us why he's the ace of this team deep down. I mean, point blank, the Mets' best starting pitcher started the game yesterday, which I think overall is a win. It just might not be as expected as we might have thought. But him coming out with those 2 innings was pretty big. Him getting as hype as everyone else on the bench warmed my heart. Like you said, he hasn't been here for most of this unforgettable run. He's been away from the team. For him to come back and do that and be able to celebrate with them was so big from just a morale standpoint. And Kodai Senga, the human who had some of the best celebrations in 2023 when we were bad, like that meant a lot to me as a fan to see him get to be able to do that.
It also
Um,
tells you how special that this team is. Sorry, I got to
yeah,
like EPI. This team is special.
don't cry, Jerry. It's okay.
I know. I, but this team is special, and their
Yeah,
chemistry is special. Um, and it's rare. It's rare to have a team like this where everybody's pulling, like it's magical. And the guys in the clubhouse know it's magical, and they know
right.
it's fleeting. So they're fighting to keep it going as long as possible. And just creates more magic. I mean, to want to be a part of that, it's great. And for Singa to fight back, and I'm proud of him and happy for him. And I appreciate the effort he put forth. It was huge 2 innings.
You know who else I'm proud and happy for, Jerry? David Peterson. The story that just keeps on going for him these past few months, specifically, this past week. I wrote this out yesterday because I had to just rationalize it in my brain. Of all the Mets, of all the clutch moments, of all the crazy comebacks this week, you can make a compelling argument that the most clutch player on the team has been David Peterson. Sunday, he throws 7 shutout innings against Milwaukee, allows 1 hit, and saves the
Hold
season.
on.
Go ahead.
That was not Sunday. That was 6 weeks ago.
No, it was
That was three
exactly
lifetimes
7 days
ago.
ago. It feels like it could have been 2022. That's how long this entire week has been, in the best way, obviously. But it's been
Mhm.
such a fucking long week of just amazing games that we barely get to catch our breath on. It's a privilege. So that was Sunday. That was 7 days ago.
Yeah.
He throws 7 shut against the Brewers, who he went on to face in the wild card game to save the season. Without that performance, I think the Mets season is pretty much lost. You'd have to take two in Atlanta, and I don't think they were going to do that. Then he comes and he gets his first career save in the do or die elimination wildcard game. Throws 8 pitches because it's nothing to him apparently. And then in this game, 3 clean shutout innings against the Philadelphia Phillies. He gets robbed of a pickoff that he definitely got against Trey
Dude,
Turner.
what?
What are we doing? If
What are we
replay can't
doing?
get anything right, I mean, I add here. Jimmy did a breakdown. MLB fucked up 3 replays
I
in
haven't seen it.
crucial moments in playoff games yesterday.
How do you
3.
mess up a replay?
The easiest thing you can do is just look for daylight, look for a gap between whatever player is on base and the base itself. And in all 3 instances, especially this one, there was
Yeah.
clear daylight. What are we doing?
What are we doing? It was
Crazy.
bananas. Yeah, Peterson was super clutch, man. He did look really good. And
Really
for
good.
starting pitchers, routine is almost everything, you know? Um, Being able to do work helps your body, helps everything. For him to kind of, his time in the bullpen helped him out with understanding how to get ready in certain aspects, how to deal with not being set in a routine. That is impressive. And to just say, I deserve the start, but Senga starting helps us out. No ego, dude.
Yep.
Again, so impressive. That guy could be like, no, I deserve the ball. He can come in
And
and
he would be right, honestly. He would be.
agreed,
Yeah.
agreed. But this team will do whatever they think is best to help the team. And his performance, I know you mentioned it 1 week ago in Milwaukee. This team, the Mets, looked like they were rolling over, like they
Yeah.
had just lost their way. Started in Atlanta. Atlanta kicked their asses, and they looked like nervous, like they did the year in 22.
Yep.
They went to Milwaukee and looked the same, and the first 2 days, and then Peterson said, "You know what? I'm going to throw 7 shutout against this offense in Milwaukee, and you guys can figure it out offensively." Change the entire. I truly believe that the win in Milwaukee set up the win in Atlanta, because if they don't play well in Milwaukee, they still have that same feeling coming back to Atlanta.
Right.
And then they don't win there. And then if they do, they go back to Milwaukee and not knowing that they can play that team in that place strong. I think it changed everything. And for him to come out and give 3 innings of shutout baseball, like another in a long line of just huge performances. So
Yeah. I mean, loved everything he said.
yeah,
Because we can't forget how much of a miracle it is that not only the Mets are winning these games, but the fact that they're here in the first place. And it does start with him. That third inning was big for me. One of the reasons I was so cautious, and I have been cautious on David Peterson up until this breakout, is mentality. I feel like there were just a lot of moments you can point to, whether it was, prior years in the first inning, a lot he would get rattled, and late in games, he wouldn't be able to finish that 6th inning. The third inning, he doesn't get the pickoff call after he picks off Trey Turner. Another runner gets on. Bryce Harper steps up with a chance to, kind of lengthen the score and help Philly put this game away. He's already got a walk. The Mets are clearly pitching around him. Peterson has no choice but to pitch to him. And he gets him. Outside fastball, beautiful dot. Just a really, really good at bat, really tough matchup for Peterson. Harper's got him many times in the past before. I had a bad feeling about the at bat, and then he just buckled down. Picked a great spot to get his only strikeout in those 3 innings, and now him and Senga have combined for 5 innings, 1 run against the Phillies, which is great. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that against this offense that seems to thrive in the playoffs every year. You've given yourself a chance to actually go to the real bullpen now and, find a way to get, what would it be, 12 more outs. And that's when Reed Garrett comes in, who I think will be continued to be unsung in this playoff story because he's kind of just become that reliable guy again. Him getting 6 outs was massive. I didn't know he had that in his book. But he looked so clean, 6 up, 6 down. And that gives the Mets just every ample opportunity to, one, work Zack Wheeler enough to get him out of the game, and two, set themselves up for another one of these late heroic rallies.
Reed Garrett was great. I think
Yeah.
they figured out his role perfectly.
The
Again,
usage of him has been perfect.
yes, to me he's not a he can't step in to be closer. I think he's shown that his mentality, like he becomes a little bit putting too much pressure on himself. He might
Right.
not be that guy anymore, or he might figure it out. But he setting setting a guy up for success, the best way to help a team is to get a guy that has closer shit and feels more comfortable doing it in the fifth, sixth, seventh, sometimes the eighth inning. He was wonderful, like dominant.
Yeah.
He was pumping the zone, which is huge for him. And he looked really good. Clean, stress-free innings. Beautiful.
So that takes us to the eighth.
Mhm.
The Mets, I've gotten Zack Wheeler out of the game. He throws one of the greatest postseason starts ever, 110 pitches, 1 hit allowed. I think it was like the third most swing and miss in any game since 2008 or something was the stat. Just unbelievable. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I don't care, but Andy Fletcher's zone was pretty bad. And I think Wheeler didn't. I've seen a lot of things of like that Wheeler's getting the benefit of more calls. I think Wheeler was better at exploiting it. I think he found that inside edge to right-hand hitters that he was just getting calls on all the time. And Mets pitching, I think, just didn't utilize that as much. The Phillies also sort of they got some lefty power bats in there that are the big bats. But Wheeler just, he had it going from the second inning on. Just he knew what he needed to get in that zone with Andy Fletcher, and he made it work. Regardless of that, it does not matter who is coming into the game. If they are not Zack Wheeler, you could tell that this Mets offense felt life come back into them again because it wasn't him on the mound. Francisco Alvarez leads off the inning with a single. I believe he had 2 strikes on him. Just kind of a seeing eye single, sticks the barrel out there, flicks it over shortstop, almost a ball that Trey Turner can catch. Instead, it lands. He gets on. Bader pinch runs. That starts this whole inning, and it's equally as important as Lindor coming up, instantly going down 0-2. Bad. Jeff Hoffman spikes, I think, a slider,
Yeah, that was strange.
and Lindor sells because he was swinging, I think, no matter what. The ball bounces in front of home plate, and he still gets a piece of it. He still fouls it off.
I don't know how he fouled that off because
I honestly thought he didn't. I thought they messed
I
up the
was
call.
watching with no sound. And so I had it on and I'm watching it. And I go, how the hell did he swing at that? That must have been nasty. And then I was like, why is he arguing?
Yeah.
And then he goes, I fouled that off. I'm like, how did you foul that pitch off? That was 48 feet. That was amazing. So that was a huge piece.
Literally a cricket swing separated Lindor from his worst at bat I've seen in a month to one of his best. Because
Yeah.
after that, he settles in, locks in, doesn't sell out for anything, works the count, gets the walk, which I think is big for setting up the Mets with a runner in scoring position, but also big because if you're Jeff Hoffman, you had their best hitter 0-2, you got him to sell out on one of your worst pitches, and then you let him go. Like that is so demoralizing. It has to be
Oh,
for a
it's
relief
heartbreaking.
pitcher.
It definitely is. When you have a guy,
Like
and
the guy, not just
Yeah.
any guy, the guy.
yeah. When you have the guy in a big moment and you're like, yes, and then he works it, and you end up it's a kick in the gut. It's a punch in the gut.
Then Hoffman gets Vientos 0-2. Vientos takes two fastballs, one of them center cut, so he must have been sitting slider the whole time. He watches them go by. I have a pit in my stomach because I'm like, dude, if you just went the other way with either of those, whatever. Vientos stays locked in an 0-2 count, gets that slider. It's a good pitch. I mean, outer half, I think it nicks the corner, and Vientos just goes with it, sticks the barrel out, and pulls it because he has that much strength down the line. Bader comes in to score. Mets tie the game. Jeff Hoffman, you're out. Three batters, all of them reach base. Really tough showing for him. But they bring in Matt Strahm versus the lefty, Brandon Nimmo, which is a pretty good matchup for them if they're trying to, get a couple outs and kill this rally. Nimmo goes down 0-2. Everyone is down 0-2 in these counts.
The first slider he swung at, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, like, okay, this might be where the rally ends. Instead, Nimmo works it too. A beautiful piece of opposite field hitting. It wasn't even a full swing. He literally just went with it and tapped it.
He's been doing that, man.
He's been
been
doing
able
it.
to just kind of like, all right, if you're gonna shift me this way, like if you're gonna play over there, I can like pull the ball. If you're gonna move over there, I can poke the ball. Like it's a really good. I don't know why he threw him a fastball.
No idea.
Because all he had to do was throw another bounce a slider. Like he hung one, he threw one in the other batter's box. He got a swing. Then he backed one up that got fouled off. Like throw the one back over there. He tried to sneak a fastball by him, and he said,
Well, like it all happened in a flash, but in retrospect, like, yeah, man, if one pitch has gotten two strikes and you haven't thrown it for a strike, stick with it. I don't know, whatever.
I'm with you.
I'm very happy he didn't because Nimmo goes the other way. Beautiful piece of hitting. Mets take the lead 2-1 in the blink of an eye. Four batters come to bat, all four reach base after 5 base runners in 7 innings. Like it was like they turned the switch. Alonso comes up. He goes down 0-2. Fine, whatever. Everyone's been doing it, so you might as well do it as well. Strahm throws him a slider. It catches a little bit too much plate, a little bit too much, up in the zone. Alonso gets under it. It looked like he got it for a second, and then, it started to die in center field, but that's another run because of the sacrifice fly. Jose Iglesias comes up. 0-2, of course. I think every batter went down 0-2 except for maybe Alvarez. Iglesias works a 10-pitch at bat, and Strahm never throws a ball. It's 8 foul balls in a row.
He took the first one and then swung at every single pitch.
He took the first one, which was a ball, by the way. Like another.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the game day zone right now. It's not even in the shadow of the zone.
Shit, that was way off.
It was Andy Fletcher again. Fucking Jose
and
Iglesias.
It's a lefty cutter, so that ball. Here's the plate. Okay,
yeah.
That ball starts here and never moves. It never gets to the plate. Those are the ones that drive hitters nuts because that's an inexcusable miss by the umpire.
Yeah, so it's the second straight at bat.
From his hand, it was never a strike, and for it to get called a strike.
You go back to the 4th inning. Iglesias is up with 2 men on, 1 out. He's up 2-0 in the count against Zack Wheeler. Wheeler throws the ball way inside. Again, misses the shadow of the zone. He gets the call. It changes the complexion of the whole at bat. They get that double play. They get out of it. This at bat starts a pretty similar way. Like he gets boned on the very first call. So he's like, all right, fuck it. I'm swinging at everything because everything's going to get called apparently. So he swings at 9 straight pitches. Strahm finally gives him a cutter in the zone. I can't believe he gave in. All he had to do was throw him another ball, I think.
0-2.
There's no reason.
Dude.
I think it was Strahm just trying to beat him. I don't know what we're doing, Phillies bullpen. I really don't know.
You can't, at that point as a pitcher, you're like, we literally call it swing mode. And he did. I mean, 10 pitches is ridiculous. You have 0-2 on the 3rd after the 2nd foul ball. I'm literally throwing him something that he cannot foul off, like a curveball in the dirt that looks maybe enough out of the hand or a slider in the dirt because he's going to swing. It's swing mode. They're like, oh, he's in swing mode. He can't help himself. No matter where you throw the ball, he just I can't stop. Like usually that's
his
when
game.
A hitter. Yeah, man. And so another mistake over and over again.
Mistake.
I mean, he tried to go above the zone, but not enough.
It felt like Strom wanted a punch out to get himself hyped up and get the crowd back into it, which I understand.
Bounce a curveball or
Bounce
bounce
a
a slider,
curveball. Like
dude.
what
Bounce
are
a
you
slider.
doing? Everyone in the stadium, everyone at home knows that Jose Iglesias is swinging until he either gets on
That's what
base
I
or
mean.
gets out. There's
Just
no way
bounce.
he's working this count. He doesn't trust Andy Fletcher, but Strom throws him six straight pitches that are up in the zone, pretty much center cut. On the 10th pitch, he finally gets it, hits it up the middle for a base hit. So deflating it must have been for Strom to waste 10 bullets, not get the guy, and then get taken out of the game just like Hoffman. So that's now six batters against the Phillies, 1A and 1B relievers.
They're two of their all-star pitch or all-star
All
relievers.
stars. How about that?
Yeah.
Two all stars. And they only get one out, and it's a sacrifice fly 400 feet to center field. Oh boy. JD Martinez comes up against Orion Kirkring, who we rallied against before, but he's got nasty stuff.
He's filthy.
Finally, the Mets get ahead in the count. They get ahead
Yeah.
1-0.
1-0.
So big, so big. JD works into three pitches. He singles up the middle, and then at this point, it's just the parade is going on. They're raining it on. Marte hits the sac fly, and in the blink of an eye, it's a 5-run inning, and there are Philly fans vacating their seats and heading for the exits. Unbelievably so. What a magic inning! It's so. I saw someone tweet and I retweeted it that this is only like the third best rally this week from the Mets, and it was incredible. I mean, to watch them completely pick apart a bullpen that has picked apart hitters for this entire season on the biggest stage possible when we needed them most was so cool.
It's something like they're since some date in like September 19th or something. It's like their sixth 5-run inning or something.
Something
There's a stat
insane.
out there. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. It's weird here because at SNY I'll be like, hey, how many 5-run innings is that? And there's a team back there,
That's
there's a
so
human
cool.
being that can. I know it's so cool. I'm like, hey, how many because he seems to be getting ahead 0-2. How many 0-2 counts does he have? Oh, perfect. And they just know they have research. It's something ridiculous on how many 5-run innings these guys have put together. That is a killer. A 5-run inning, something major, it is a knockout punch in a game like this mostly because you can claw your way back from three, or you lost a lead, you only gave up one or two, whatever the case may be. 5 runs is demoralizing because it goes through multiple pitchers. It's a momentum swing, and they've been doing it so late in these games that they don't have a chance to catch their breath. That was it. Another huge rally. Well done by the boys in blue and orange. Like just wonderful.
And let me ask you this. When I did my reaction yesterday, and some people agreed with me, which I was happy to see. I felt like a bad fan, but or maybe a good fan. But they're down 1-0 in this game. Wheeler is mowing them down. And I keep thinking, I'm not stressed because one, I already said I would be understanding if they had dropped this game. When they came up in the eighth inning, it felt like they were going to win. As soon as Alvarez got the single, I was like, here we go again. Like they're gonna do it again. I can already tell. And I never felt panicked in this game. If they had lost today and went into game two down 1-0, I'm definitely that panic sets in again, like game three of the wild card. It's like, all right, we got to win this one. I never felt like that crazy sense of urgency in this game. I felt so comfortable knowing that the pitching staff was keeping it close and that the Phillies were letting us stay in the game. When that eighth inning rolled around, I wasn't even that shocked, man. I mean, obviously, I loved watching it and I was celebrating, but I wasn't surprised because this is just what they do now. This is their
Yeah.
identity. This is who they are.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't make you a bad fan. That makes you, I mean, you're living the same feelings that they do in the dugout.
Yeah.
What they exude, we see. Like they talk about body language all the time, and when you're a young player, especially a pitcher on the mound, your team feeds off of the emotion that you exude. You can see it, and he's like, oh, he's feeling negative or he's angry. When you're confident as a whole group, like a whole team, you feel it through the TV, through whatever, you can feel it, and the other team can see it. It doesn't always work, but the fact that you believe that they're going to pull through, you're just like, so do they. And it's like, you know, chicken and egg, but that's not a bad fan. You've been paying attention. You've seen him do it so many times. I just want to mention the feeling that when Zack Wheeler comes out of the game,
Yeah.
I think it was who was on the call. I actually was listening to this version.
It was AJ Pierzynski, Adam Wainwright, and Tom
I think it
Verducci.
was Wainwright was
Wainwright's
saying
pretty
like
good on the mic,
he's really
honestly.
good.
Yeah.
As soon as Zack Wheeler comes out, he was like, I don't care who's coming into this game, and this is a fact. As long as it's not Zack Wheeler, it could have been Class A. It could have been,
Could have been Mariano Rivera.
Edwin Diaz, Mariano Rivera. At least you have a chance.
Yeah.
Maybe he gives you a meatball. Maybe it's you have no chance against Zack Wheeler. So whoever that comes into the game after that, you feel real good because now you have a chance, maybe a puncher's chance, but they ran into a not Wheeler pitcher and made them pay. Like they were just
I
like
mean,
hoping he comes out before the ninth inning. Like just take enough pitches, whatever it costs, get Zack Wheeler out there, then we'll take care of the rest. It's what it felt like the whole time watching it.
yeah, I mean, in the sixth inning, I was just hoping and pleading for them to work him enough to maybe get him out then. What's crazy is that, one, none of this game is Rob Thompson's fault. I thought he managed it as well as he could have, put out his best lineup, put out his best pitchers and lost. There were Philly fans genuinely saying, why didn't you leave Wheeler in at 110 pitches? Like, dude's arm is going to fall off. But honestly, I think if he went nine, they might win the game. You just might not see Zack Wheeler ever again. We forced his hand. He had to go to his bullpen, a bullpen that he trusts. But it just
They've been
sends
good.
it sends such a bad omen for Philly going forward that you used your best guys against us. One of them owned us, but now you can't use them again for 4 days at the very least. And everyone else got knocked around. So good luck late in these games because that's when we thrive the most. Um, and then a perfect spot to use Phil Maton. Perfect spot. I thought Mendy nailed this. You just seized a massive lead. You're up 5-1. Maton kind of fell out of the circle of trust temporarily after game two. Let's get him back in. Let's get his confidence back up because he's someone we're going to need down the stretch if we're actually going to do this thing. You need as many weapons in your pen as possible. Gets the first two outs. Huge.
You look good
Big.
too.
Looked great. Harper gets the double. Castellanos follows with a single. Bohm steps up. It gets a little scary. But in my head, I'm like, okay, well, Maton kind of needs to execute in a moment like this. That's the real test. It's not just about getting a scoreless inning when you're up 4 runs. It's about can you get the leverage out? Because you're the setup guy. Like you're going to get more opportunities like this in much higher leverage situations. This is almost a good thing. Let's see what he can do. And he gets Bohm. That was big. So he throws up a scoreless frame. The Mets add insurance the next inning to pile it on, and they go from there to get the win. Complete team effort in this game. Complete team effort, which you could say for pretty much any of their massive wins this past week. Again, it wasn't just one big hit. It was death by 1,000 cuts and a team effort from the bullpen. Just so much to love about a win like this.
Yeah, I mean it's you're playing with house money after this win. The Phillies aren't done. I'm just going to put it there. The Phillies are. Bryce Harper will have this team ready to go.
Yeah.
The dude wants to win. He's going to put that pressure on. They're built to win in October. They have some fight left in them. It's going to be a fun one though, and the Mets have a huge advantage by winning. Oh, Zack Wheeler start in game one in Philly. Huge,
A
huge, big
massive advantage. I mean, it can't be understated how important that win was.
Yeah, man. And then I was checking out the box score and I was curious on how many pitches their bullpen had thrown. Matt Strom threw 17 pitches, 17 strikes.
Damn.
He
He
threw
didn't throw
all
a
strikes.
single ball?
He threw one
That's
ball.
insane. I mean, I think that he looked the best of the three.
He
And
did.
they
Just
got
got
to
beat,
him.
made a couple of poor
17
choices.
strikes, 0 balls, and he didn't get a single out. That sucks. That actually sucks.
Uh, but yeah,
Amazing.
I expect a fight
Oh
tonight.
yeah.
Um, but the Mets got to be feeling good.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I loved Mendoza's words after the game. You know, he kept saying in the post game when the media was kind of egging him on for how well they did, he kept saying it's one win. Like we have to
yeah,
go out there and do it tomorrow. You know,
again, he's so damn awesome as a
I know
manager.
everything
Like,
he says. His
dude,
eye for the game. He doesn't miss a single thing. It's awesome.
and he's not full of shit.
Yeah,
He understands in the moment. He's like, look, great win. Guess what, boys? Focus up. We got to go out tomorrow. Have fun. We did it. What do we got to do to win tomorrow? And then
yep,
he'll show up to the ballpark. Cool. We got to win. What are we doing right now? We are going to be ready to play. He leads the way. They have taken on his personality of positivity, accountability, and preparation. These guys know exactly what they need to do, and they're prepared to do it. That's the best thing that you can have. And then when your manager is making good moves, I mean, you may not agree with everything that's gone on,
yeah,
but I do feel like he's made all the right choices personally. I was worried. The only one that I wouldn't have done and I was against turned out to be an 8 inning save for David Peterson. I
right.
wouldn't have put him in. I didn't like the fact that I feel like a save was different. I was like, this is different than just piggybacking coming in. I was wrong. Because Peterson had an 8 inning or 8 pitch double play to end it. He looked really sharp. But he's got these guys in good positions. There is another one that I don't like either is taking Vientos out.
Yeah, this is what I was gonna say. In
I
game
don't
two, it
like
was too early. You know, like it came
it's
back to bite
because his
them.
spot's coming up.
Yeah.
I don't think Acuna Iglesias is that much better than Iglesias Vientos
Yeah, I
defensively.
mean, let's. I mean, Vientos had the one misplay in the first wild card game, like the very first play, and then
Yeah.
outside of that, he's been great. I don't think he's had a single misplay. He's looked good.
He almost had one last night on the a chopper that he he like tossed it over there and
The high throw.
yeah, he like
Yeah.
lobbed it over there and Marsh almost beat it out. It's like you saw him like when they were throwing it around, he was like, whoops. But other than that, he's played really well. I get it, but I wouldn't do it either. But I will not say that that's wrong because
Right.
you're up. You put your best defensive team out there. He puts Bader in, or he pinch ran. Oh, he didn't pinch run for Winker or JD
Yeah.
in two of the games. I disagreed with that again, though. Didn't cause a problem.
Not at all.
But bringing Bader in, keeping him happy with playing time too, I think helps because I don't know Bader, and I'm not saying that he is like this, but I can see a guy not being happy.
I mean, you
Because,
remember earlier in the season, Bader said, "I'm an everyday player. I want to play every day." Like that
yeah,
kind of
yeah, and
caused a little rift.
that's the thing. Again, I don't know him. I'm not saying he's doing this. He would be it would be handled well in the clubhouse, but you don't want any of that kind of like negativity around. So I
Yeah.
think getting him into these games regularly is just a smart move altogether because he's a great defender, but also he gets to chip in too. So
I just love that Mendy never fails to use his whole bench. He did it again last night between Bader pinch running for Alvarez, JD pinch hitting for Winker to get the matchup. Torrens coming in to catch after Alvarez got pulled, and then Acuna coming in for defense. Like everyone is getting a lick in pretty much every game, even if it's just late in the game. You got to keep your guys fresh. You never know when you're going to need them. I mean, Bader might get a start today. I mean,
mhm.
Tyrone Taylor looked totally overmatched against Zach Wheeler yesterday. Didn't
Well,
really
so
have a good
did
day.
Starling Marte, and so did you know what
Right,
I
right.
mean,
But I'm
and so
saying,
did
there are
Francisco
opportunities for these
Lindor.
guys to play. That's well,
Lindor
he
Lindor hit
pulled
one
that
off.
first ball. He had a nice swing on the first
Did you
inning. But
see
yeah,
him? Like, did you see him after he just goes, and
yeah.
he's laughing because
The one he
he's so
muscled out
nasty.
in his second at bat, he was like, I don't know, why am I swinging? And how did I get here? You're probably wondering how I got here. That's what
That's
he's
how good
thinking.
Wheeler is.
Yeah.
And the Mets are going to have to face him if they go to a game five. I wouldn't be surprised if he pitches in game four because he's a freak
Yeah, to save the season, that might
and
be it.
he's competitive too. But huge win. Great job by Mendy. I love the fact that they've gotten Acuna into a bunch of games
Yeah.
because you don't want to have to bring that guy, a young kid in, and him be nervous because he hasn't played in a while.
Yeah.
Keeping people hot and fresh, like that sounds like a Subway ad or something. Hot and fresh, is that a
Nice.
thing?
Nice.
But they're neither. But whoops. But having these guys, yeah, just in case somebody wanted to sponsor, they're out now. Um, Having them play regularly. Again, they're just really handling for a first-time manager, for David Stearns, for this whole coaching staff. They're handling it the way it needs to be handled, and I'm appreciative watching it.
It's very cool to watch unfold. I'm I when Mendoza first got hired, my only ask was last more than 2 years. Because that's everyone keeps coming in for 2 years and then leaving on bad terms. Get past your second year. Looks like he's going to do that. We'll see.
Yeah,
Um, so we head to game two now. I mean, the Phillies got seven shutout innings from their ace and lost. The Mets steal game one at the bank. They robbed the bank, as I keep saying. Shirt coming soon, I think. I'm going to wear the shit out of that. Um,
Rob the
Luis
bank.
Severino takes the bump. Faced the Phillies somewhat recently, I think at the bank. Um, this was the game where Bryce Harper was like, he hadn't homered in 2 months and then got him twice. It was that game, if you remember. I believe the
I
Mets
do
won.
remember.
Um, Sevy, coming off a pretty decent game one start, had to battle to get back into it. It was 6 innings, 3 earned runs. The fourth run was unearned. Don't really know why. We'll take it.
A weird one.
Battled
Yeah, it
back
was like
for,
the misplay in center field that
I don't
didn't
know.
cost. He'll
And
take it.
here's what I'll say about that. I feel like Sevy's going to come out there and throw strikes. I don't think he's going to nibble against the Phillies offense. If they can't get it going against him, the Phillies lineup is in big trouble because they're going to see pitches to put the ball in play on today. I think more so than yesterday, where you're facing Senga, who basically lives in the shadow of the zone. Peterson, who's been a control freak. Reed's got that splitter he can bury. Sevy's got good stuff, but a lot of it hinges on him throwing strikes. So
Yeah.
this is a little bit of a scary matchup for that reason. If the sweeper's going, great, but expect some balls in play, I think is the big thing. Christopher Sanchez goes against the Mets, the hulking lefty who's had good starts against us. Remember, he dueled David Peterson on Sunday Night Baseball. The Mets lost that game late. Um, it's a big matchup for him, man. He's not a kid. He's been around. He was a Rule 5 guy. He's been trying to get cracked through the league for a while. He finally established himself this year. I believe, is this his first postseason start?
Oh, I don't
No,
know.
he started one game of the NLCS last year, went two and a third. This is really his first outing though, because he's
I
not
mean, he
going
had a
two and a third
breakout. He had
today.
a breakout campaign as a starter. I think
Yeah, he
that's
like they're not going to yank him after seven. They're going to need length from him today because they used three of their A guys in the bullpen. Probably all three are available today, but you don't want to be using them for crazy pitch counts. So expect to see this big lefty in the game for quite a while. It's why I think Bader might get a start because he's got the good lefty numbers. I don't know. Um, but also like the Mets have been running out the same lineup every day. Why change it? That kind of thing too. I don't know. I'm excited because, like you said before, it's house money. Like win or lose, like we're in a great position after this game. And if they win this game too, Jerry, they go 2-0 at the bank. Jeez, jeez.
this is a tough matchup um, for the Mets offense.
Yeah,
He's got a nasty changeup, and anybody that throws changeups, I feel like I've had a lot of success against this team. Again, I don't have my stat people behind me helping me out here.
yeah,
Can we get one on staff? That'd be great.
yeah. Really.
I could look it up and get back to it.
Give me
Unprepared,
the
I
stat.
guess.
I'll try and find it for you.
Yeah, just against changeups. I feel like a guy that throws a good changeup is a tough matchup because you have to stay with it and approach. And he throws a ton of strikes. Um, I like that for the Mets. He throws his changeup for strikes and for balls. His sinker's pretty good. He's got a little like tiny little slider. But his changeup's his best pitch by far. And I feel like it's a tough matchup. But left on lefties, I'm just trying to temper expectations for myself,
Mm,
I think. But
sure.
I really do think that he matches up well against the Mets. But they're killing it right now. And he's not Zack Wheeler.
He's not Zack Wheeler.
He's not Zack Wheeler. So their confidence has to be super high. I just want him to be a little patient at the plate, get a pitch to hit. And I feel the same way you do about Sevy. Is very capable of throwing a shutout here, but he also is capable of giving up some homers. It's a tough ballpark and a good
Yeah.
lineup. Um, it's just they got to be confident in it and feeling so good coming into tonight's game because they won yesterday. Like that has to carry over into like it doesn't matter what we do, we're gonna win. Like we're just gonna keep battling and win. So
I mean,
should be a fun one.
one thing you're definitely going to see, I think JD is going to start today. He hit 357 against changeups this year, lefty on the mound. Logical. The tandem between him and Winker has been really fun, just from a
Yeah.
number standpoint. Winker's hitting under 200, but because he's walking so much, his OPS is 1,000. JD's OPS isn't crazy high, but he's been putting the ball in play so much that he's hitting 333. It's a really nice like dichotomy of, all right, we have one guy that's going to never strike out and kill you with contact. The other guy's never going to swing, and he's going to make you throw
Yeah.
10 pitches. It's cool to see that they've really found their roles that way. He probably gets to start today. I don't know, man. It's exactly what you said, though. You nailed it on the head. They have to be feeling amazing right now. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what the numbers are, what they've done against Sanchez in the past. None of it matters. I mean, we said this with the Pete Alonso home run, how none of his season struggles matter anymore because of that moment. None of what happened in this matchup before. Oh, and I almost forgot to bring this up. I keep seeing NBC Philadelphia say that the Phillies went 7-3 against the Mets this year in non-Taiwan Walker starts. First of all, rude to Taiwan Walker, who is a
That is
professional pitcher.
rude.
Second of all, if we want to play that game, four of those wins came against Joey Wendell, Omar Narvaez, Brett Beatty, and DJ Stewart. So if we're going to play that game, you're facing a completely different team now, and that just feeds the narrative. None of that shit matters, dude. We're
None of
both
it
different
matters.
teams than we were in May. We're here
Yeah.
now, and the Mets are 1-0 in the games that
And these
matter.
Mets won't be intimidated.
No.
And the Phillies are intimidating of a team, and these guys came in to a very hostile environment. I mean, the offense did a great job of scoring in the eighth inning. The pitching staff and the defense holding
That
this
was the biggest
offense.
thing. The
Yeah,
biggest thing. Yeah.
absolutely. Holding this offense full of magic after a leadoff home run to nothing
Yep.
until the ninth. Amazing.
The final thing I'll say about this, I don't know if it was the game plan after the leadoff home run to never really throw Harper and Schwarber hittable pitches until the game was, far in the Mets' favor. Run it back until, Turner and Castellanos and Bohm and Stott and all those guys can show you that they can punish you too. There's no reason to give Schwarber or Harper any pitches to
Schwarber
do
or Harper?
Schwarber. Yeah, combine them, Schwarber, to do any damage against you. And Harper's gotten Sevy twice. Schwarber is a postseason monster. Put him on base. Let's see what happens.
Couldn't agree more, dude.
If I'm Topper, hit him back to back. Why not? Do a Soto Judge thing. I don't know why he doesn't do that.
I would do the same thing. And they're not getting pitches to hit unless the game doesn't matter.
Yep.
So I feel you. And I'm throwing them. I'm not putting them on like that. I'm throwing them pitches because
Yeah.
in the playoffs, everybody wants to play. They want to hit. They want to be a hero. Want to have good times. Make them get themselves out or go stand on first base, bud.
Yep.
And
Schwarber better
I would
not
hit
see
them
another
back to back.
fastball.
I'd go Schwarber Harper 100%.
I don't think he's going to do it because that's just not what they've done the entire season, but
Yeah.
it feels like a missed opportunity to go lefty lefty 1-2. If you put Schwarber on, Harper's going to have a chance with a runner on. Or at the worst, you get two men on, nobody out to start the game.
Yeah,
It's a no-brainer. I don't know.
I'm with you.
I think that's all I got.
Same.
That was fun. That was just a 50 minutes straight of just beautiful Mets talk. And they get to play again today. What a privilege on October 6th to say that the Mets continue to play baseball. And you know what? They're guaranteed three more games. I'm starting to feel like it's going to be a lot more than three, just by the vibe of the team.
Hey, are you going to the game three?
I am going to NLDS Game 3. It's my first
That's
postseason
exciting.
game in almost 10 years. My last one was 2015 NLDS Game 3, which was pretty fun, if you remember. Um, and they have a chance, potentially, if they win today, to wrap it up with me in attendance, and I'd very much like to see that.
That
But
would
we'll
be
see.
really cool.
One game at a time.
Of
Tough to win
course.
two at the bank.
We're allowed to what's the word that I want? We're allowed to speculate.
Speculate. Yeah, there you go.
We're
We'll
allowed
see.
to dream,
House money. Why
have fun.
not? Why
Have fun.
not?
Go out, go kick some butt, man. Enjoy this ride, Mets fans. It's cool. So
And every other division winner won yesterday. Just
yeah.
saying. No less
We're not
BS.
you can listen to Talking Baseball if you want to recap, but Otani's pretty cool. He's a
I've
pretty
heard.
good player.
I've heard that he's like single-handedly beating the narrative that the Dodgers can't win the playoffs by himself. I've heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's pretty good. Freddie Freeman over there with like a broken foot, going two for
Yeah,
four and stealing a bag.
do you know Foolish Baseball, right?
Yeah,
He had such a funny tweet that he had to delete yesterday because I get how it could be considered a little off color. He
yeah.
tweeted, this is the last thing we'll wrap up the show. He tweeted, Freddie Freeman passed away yesterday. It was a peaceful death surrounded by loved ones. He's considered day to day, and we'll try to play through it because that's just been his whole
It's pretty
season.
funny. Also, smart move to delete it.
Yeah, to scrap that one. But just
It's a good one.
it seems like he's just a robot that can overcome any
He's just like
ailment
he's day to
whatsoever
day.
in 3 days. So he'll be fine. We're
That's
expecting him to be
clever.
in the lineup. So
All
yeah,
right.
that's it. Game 2, 4 p.m.
Game
Lock
two.
in. We're streaming on Shea Station today. So if you listen
Oh,
to this
nice.
podcast and you're hungry for more, I will be at the office with Lorenzo Vuigades and Ryan Cohen, biggest Padres fan on earth. What's
4
up?
o'clock. 4 o'clock.
4
game.
o'clock. 4 o'clock game. Weird still, but that's okay. We'll take it. Tune into that stream. Subscribe to Shea Station if you've been listening to all the content and enjoying it. We're at past 9,000 subs. That's 1,200 in a full week, which is crazy. I
Good
want to
for
get
us.
10K because I think the Mets are going to keep winning. So let's keep it going, man. Content every day. So make sure you sub and leave us a review on podcast apps if you're listening there. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow for another ep. Let's
If
go,
not, that's
Mets.
okay too.
Yeah. But
Let's
also
go, Mets.
maybe do it anyway.
Shea Station. Jerry and Charlie. Shea Station. Jerry and Charlie.